In the Gospel accounts, in more than one place actually, there's a story where Jesus appears to be involved in a somewhat miraculous feeding of a very large crowd of hungry people. One is in Matthew chapter 14, verses 13 to 21. It's one of the lectionary readings for this coming Sunday. I believe actually that Reverend Graham Tutt is going to be preaching on Psalm 21. But I just want to do a little reflection on this feeding of the 5,000 story, because it's such a remarkable story and often way too simplistically engaged with, I think, because miracles do happen today just as they did 2,000 years ago, but often the miracle is not the bit that we think is miraculous. So often we will read the story of the feeding of the 5,000 as a miraculous generation of edible substance from somewhere we don't know from whence it came. But it's also possible that when Jesus says to his disciples, when they come to him and say, these people are hungry and need something to eat, and Jesus says to them effectively, not don't look at me, but why don't you feed them? And they get the resources they have available to them and pull them together and then share them. And in this moment there's a change of dynamic that occurs that I think is where the real miracle is to be found. It's the miracle of, I'm just going to pause for a second and say hello to Gypsy. Hi Gypsy. It's the miracle of the change of orientation from what I need to what I have to offer to everybody else. And when that orientation changes, we go from a situation of lack or scarcity to a situation of abundance, because when we pool our resources, then we often find that we have what we need collectively, and if we're willing to offer what we have to the people who have the need for it, then we have abundance. And it's actually the fear of not having enough that creates the scarcity, and people hoarding things unto themselves for fear of missing out or concern that they won't have enough. But when we orient ourselves towards sharing what we have and offering it to the people we're with, and if others are then inspired to do the same, a miracle does take place, a miracle that's much more profound than simply the one-off generation of a meal. It's the miracle of discovering that in community with other people we have the best security that is actually possible in life. We discovered some of this during the first COVID lockdowns in our local area in Ultimo, because people got in touch with each other. We were on a WhatsApp group, a chat together, and if there was a need, anyone had a need, they would make that need known, and almost immediately that need would be met by somebody else in the community who delighted to do so. Like it was almost a competition in regard to who could be most generous and offer the thing that was required. And that was a very telling experience for me. And I think there's something of that in this story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. Yeah, the resources came miraculously, but it's not that they were generated ex nihilo, out of nothing, but it's that when people are oriented not towards fear because of their concern about not having enough or scarcity, but when there is a generosity of spirit that says, between us we have what's required as long as we all share what we have to those who have need, that really changes everything. It's a big challenge, because even today in every community and across the world we actually do have enough. Some people seem to have way too much and other people not enough, but together we have enough. It's a challenging thought, isn't it? I'll leave it with you. Looking forward to hearing Graham speak next Sunday. 23rd Psalm, I know it's one of Ian Avery's favourites. No pressure, Graham, but better not disappoint Ian. Just kidding. And we look forward to seeing you at the Mustard Seed. God bless.